how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward. And today I have a question that was sent in through the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app by Christian. And he says, Lee, what would you suggest for a hard gainer or a non-responder to training? He says, eating more and lifting heavy doesn't work for me. I just get a bloated belly and aching joints. I've been lifting for more than 5 years consistently, and I don't have a lot to show for it. Alright, that's a good question, and there's a lot to this question, and I'll try to do my best to cover it all in this video. Okay, first off, when it comes to training for bodybuilding, you do need to train in a progressive overload fashion, meaning that you strive to lift heavier and increase the volume of training that you do over time. What I mean by volume of training, increase the workload that you do. Either increasing the weights, increasing the repetitions, increasing the sets. You want to have some form of progressive overload where you're forcing your muscles to perform a greater work capacity than they did before, and thus by doing that, you build the muscles bigger and stronger. Now, there's a difference when it comes to training for bodybuilding and training for power and performance sports, like powerlifting, weightlifting, CrossFit, strongman. These are power performance sports where the main goal is to lift as much as you can, do as many repetitions as you can, or perform a given task in the least amount of time. That requires a different type of training than bodybuilding. In power sports, you're using your muscles as a tool to perform work. In bodybuilding, you're using the weights as a tool to build the muscles. So there are similarities, but there are a lot of differences as well. So simply training heavier is not always the best solution. You need to train heavier, but do so in a way where you're maintaining that mind-muscle connection, maintaining the feeling and the pump and the sensation in your targeted, isolated muscles that you're working. For example, if you are doing bicep curls, you want to maintain the focus in the biceps. You don't want to start swinging, using momentum and bringing in other muscles like your back and your legs and everything else. You want to keep it nice and strict and isolated to that specific muscle group. Same thing when you're doing rows or chest or any body part. You want to make sure that you're actually isolating the body part that you're trying to train. And sometimes if you train too heavy, what happens is you're forcing your joints and tendons to handle a lot of the workload, and it's not as much muscle activation as it could be as if you were using a lighter weight and really slow and controlled and strict isolated form. So if you're getting achy joints from lifting heavy, that's a sign that you're lifting too much for bodybuilding purposes. So what I would recommend you do with your workouts, reduce the weight. Cut it back, probably just a general ballpark. Take about 75% of the working weight that you're using right now. Slash your weights down and focus on quality. Focus on really going through a nice slow and controlled motion, really feeling the muscles work. Focus on getting a good pump and mind-muscle connection with all your exercises, and focus on quality over quantity. And I think that will help to move you in the right direction towards stimulating muscle growth. And as far as your diet's concerned, you say, eating more just causes you to get a bloated belly. And that is very often the case for a lot of people. So what I would suggest when it comes to a good muscle building diet is, instead of thinking of like a bulk up, just consuming a caloric surplus and eating as much food as you can, treat your muscle building diet like a fat loss cutting diet. The only difference is you're going to be in a slight caloric surplus rather than a slight caloric deficit. So I want you to be consistent with your meals, consistent with your food choices, nice, clean, wholesome foods. Lean protein, lots of vegetables, clean sources of carbohydrates. Don't get into the, junk food diet or anything like that, or trying to justify pigging out because you want to bulk up and gain weight. Still keep it nice and clean, just the same as if you were following a fat loss cutting diet. The only difference is your portion sizes are going to be a little bit higher so that you're in a slight caloric surplus, and this will help to tip the scales in favor of lean muscle gains. So I think that will help to move you in the right direction towards building a lean muscular physique without the problems of joint pain and, of course, without gaining excess body fat in the process. Now let's assume that you've got your diet and training program under control. I mean, you're training properly, you're eating properly, your lifestyle is in line with your goals. I mean, all that stuff is taken care of. You need to realize that your genetics play a huge role in your ultimate development. I mean, how far you can go with bodybuilding is ultimately determined by your genetics. And not everybody has perfect bodybuilding genetics. I'm a prime example of that. I mean, I love bodybuilding. I've loved it ever since I was a teenager. I've been competing for, since 1995 is when I started competing. And back in the day, I had dreams of, turning pro, becoming Mr. Olympia, and all of that kind of stuff. And I approached my training with full vigor, and I was gung-ho when I competed. And I just realized after several years of competition and seeing other people starting training and then progressing beyond where I was and exceeding, I just realized, hey, maybe my genetics are not pro-caliber genetics, and they certainly aren't. I don't have the genetic potential to become a pro bodybuilder and to compete on the Mr. Olympia stage. I just don't have it. And I've come to realization with that. Now, it doesn't mean that I can't train, that I can't make improvements and enjoy a bodybuilding lifestyle, but you have to realize what is realistic for you and your body type. So if you've been training for 5 years consistently and you've been pushing yourself hard, and it's not this 5 years on and off type of thing, you've been 5 years of really training in a progressive fashion and you're not seeing the gains that you think you should be, then maybe that's a cue that you're probably not cut out to be a bodybuilder. Now, I'm not trying to crush your dreams and hopes or put you down or anything like that. I'm just trying to do like a reality check. And you have to come to grips with what is real for you. So, I mean, when it comes to building a muscular physique, the genetics do play a huge role. And if you're not seeing quick gains and consistent gains and basically exceeding your peers in the gym, then that's probably a sign that you're not cut out to be a top-level bodybuilder. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. You can still train and build muscle and enjoy the lifestyle of bodybuilding. But as far as taking your physique to that ultimate level, it's probably not in the cards. So again, I'm not telling you to give up on it or anything like that, but I'm just trying to put that healthy dose of reality in there where you need to realize that not everybody can be a top-level bodybuilder, and that's okay. You can still do it for the fun of it and have it as a really cool hobby and be in great shape for health and athletic performance reasons. But not everybody's going to be a big, ripped, muscular dude, competing on the bodybuilding stage and doing well and taking your physique to the pro level and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully this helps to answer your question and kind of give you some direction. And if you have any questions, comments, or feedback related to this, please feel free to post those comments and questions down in the comment section below, and I will chat with you down there. And stay tuned for my next video coming soon. Take care. Over and out.